Mike, Don Banks said something yesterday, longtime NFL reporter, that maybe behind the scenes we're hearing NFL owners looking at the Chargers situation. And could you see a scenario where they would end up going back to San Diego?
Well, I think that'd be hard to do because I think one city that currently wants the Chargers less than L.A. would be San Diego, right? Wouldn't that be fitting? They go back to San Diego and 10,000 people would show up for a home game. Look, I think that they made a mistake in leaving right away. I know they wanted to get to L.A. and compete toe-to-toe with the Rams for the hearts and minds and wallets of Los Angeles fans, but maybe there would have been some benefit to hanging around San Diego for a couple of years. I just think they realized it was the point where it was untenable with that annual question, are they leaving? If they would have decided to have a 2 or 3 year lame duck period, that wouldn't have been good for anybody. So they had to do something. And obviously this 27,000-seat stadium isn't working because they can't sell it out.
What's best case scenario here for the Chargers?
Well, get through the next 3 years, hope your team improves, and hope that when this new stadium opens that it is so impressive, state-of-the-art, fabulous experience that people will come to the games just to be in the stadium, right? I mean, that's what we're hearing about, how this great $2.6 billion venue, you're going to pay the money just to be there. It's going to be so spectacular. It's got to be something like that to fill it up 20 times a year. When you factor in the preseason and the regular season games, will it fill up for the Rams games? Will it fill up for the Chargers games? And if we get to 2025 and there is a big disparity, or if both teams are struggling to fill it up, at some point the NFL has to say, maybe we just have one team there 10 times a year filling it up versus it being 75%, 66% capacity 20 different times between August and December.
Are you in on the Rams?
Now, look, I'm in on their potential, right? It reminds me a little bit, and I don't want to play this example, Dan, all the way out to conclusion because it puts the Rams in the Super Bowl, but it reminds me of the impact John Gruden had on the Buccaneers in 2002, where you've got a defense that is very good, and then you bring in a guy who can stir up the offense with a new system, a new approach, a new attack, get the most out of the quarterback, spread the football around to all these weapons that they have, and really more weapons on this Rams team than John Gruden had available to him, and the quarterback was Brad Johnson, all due respect to Brad Johnson. So you can balance out the Rams quickly, and I think the teams with true balance are the teams that can be competitive. And you look at the NFC West right now, the Seahawks are sputtering, the Cardinals have dipped, the 49ers may be on the path to becoming competitive, but they're 0-3. I think the Rams all of a sudden are a team that we have to watch. And if they can continue to balance offense and defense over the rest of the year, maybe Sean McVay can push them into the postseason.
He's Mike Florio, ProFootballTalk.com, NBC Sports Network, and Football Night in America. What did you make of the Aaron Hernandez results as far as CTE with his brain? And what does it mean legally as we move forward, whether it's the University of Florida, if it's the NFL? We're going to see lawsuits flying here?
Well, and none of these CTE results surprise me anymore because we've come to the point where we accept that people who play football for a period of 5, 10, 15, 20 years are going to have some degree of CTE. We still don't know what it means to have it. We don't know how else you can get it. But the bigger issue here as it relates to the legalities of this, lawsuit already filed by Jose Baez. I can't help but wonder whether or not he's trying to parlay this into a little more promotion for his career. He's got a high-profile practice. Because unless Aaron Hernandez, Dan, specifically opted out of the concussion settlement, I think he's going to have a hard time filing his own lawsuit. He last played in 2012. The case was settled after that. And the way it works is if you were retired, and he was de facto retired from the NFL once he was in prison, your only path is to file a claim within the confines of the concussion settlement. So he may be better off making a claim against the NCAA or Florida because it could be that his legal status has already been decided with respect to the NFL. And there's also this reality. I understand this is something that's being done for the benefit of his daughter, but you've got 3 other families out there who have wrongful death lawsuits pending against Aaron Hernandez, and I don't know how much this would be exempt under Massachusetts law if he has a recovery, but you're going to have 3 other sets of lawyers very aggressively trying to get every dollar they can to compensate the victims of Aaron Hernandez murders. And even though he was acquitted in 2 of the cases, you still can have a viable civil lawsuit, and he still could be found responsible, and probably will be found responsible for killing those other two men.
But could you see a scenario where the Patriots settle out of court here?
I don't think the Patriots are inclined to do anything when it comes to Aaron Hernandez. They have shunned him from the moment he was arrested back in June of 2013. There's an issue that's still pending regarding signing bonus money that he had earned. The moment he put pen to paper in August of 2012, he had earned that money, and they haven't paid it all to him. And that's still caught up in litigation between the NFL and the NFL Players Association. So I don't think the Patriots do anything here other than continue to fight and take the position he's gotten every last dollar from the organization that he's ever going to get.
The Browns favored in Indianapolis. What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
Depressing if you're a Colts fan. Dan, here's the thing. We assume, and for good reason, based upon the Colts' recent history, that they just completely mismanaged this Andrew Luck situation. What if it wasn't mismanaged? What if they knew all along that he wasn't going to be able to go into September, October, maybe beyond, and they just sold the idea that he would be so the fans wouldn't abandon ship, so they wouldn't fail to renew their season tickets, so they wouldn't be engaged with the team this year? I mean, if I'm a Colts fan, if I'm a season ticket holder, I'm wondering, was I lied to here? Because there's a point where not even the Colts' incompetence over the past several years can match how bad this is, where he hasn't even practiced yet. I mean, I'm almost at the point where I'd say shut him down for the year. Why risk even bringing him back and getting him hurt worse?
Yeah, at some point you have to wonder how long will it take him to get back into football form, and what is he coming back to? And I know that if you look at this and you're one of the other players on the team, and then you're saying, wait, you're going to hold him out because you want to protect him, then what am I doing here? You're putting me out here on the field as well, even though you got all this money invested in Andrew Luck. It's a weird situation here, and I don't know at what point do you say it's not worth putting him back in for the rest of this season, and how will the fans react to that?
Hey, and Dan, if you're Andrew Luck, at what point do you say, get me the hell out of here?
But he can't get out because of that contract.
Well, I know he can't because of the contract. Next year it becomes a little bit easier from a salary cap standpoint if they would want to make a move. But think about it. If your quarterback, who is essentially an extension of your coaching staff, if he's not all in, and I'm not saying Andrew Luck would do this because I don't think he's wired to do this, but if there would ever come a day where there's a quarterback who is bound up in one of these contracts, he's stuck and he wants out and the team says no, the next logical step is to say, fine, I'm not showing up for any of the offseason program. Good luck getting ready for the season if I'm only there for the mandatory minicamp. And I'm not staying late, and I'm not coming early, and I'm not watching film, and I'm not going to inspire the rest of my teammates to do the same. And I'm not going to lead. I'm going to be a robot that goes out there and passes the football when I'm told to do so. And if that's how you want to do it, fine, that's how we'll do it.
Yeah, he doesn't strike me as that kind of kid.
No. It would be a hell of a story if it would ever happen. And if it were my son, I'd say, hell yes, get out of there. I don't want you to continue to be subjected to, orthopedic and internal injuries and whatever else may be happening, get beat up behind that horrible offensive line. When you look at what Peyton Manning had in Indianapolis, and Tony Dungy and I talk about this all the time, they had a murderer's row of talented players around Peyton Manning, and they still only won one Super Bowl. The Colts, what do they have around Andrew Luck? They got T.Y. Hilton. All due respect to everyone else on the roster, they don't have anything close to what Peyton Manning enjoyed, and they only won one Super Bowl under Peyton Manning.
I'll see you Sunday, Mike.
All right.
That's Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk on NBCSN, ProFootballTalk.com.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.